Earth is the third planet in the Sun's orbit. The Sun's importance speaks for itself as the center of the solar system and the source of all known energy. In occult numerology, the number 3 is recognized as a divine master number, which is also self-explanatory pertaining to Earth. The sixth planet, Saturn, is also associated with divine and human characteristics despite its low human population. Ancient interpretations of Saturn coincide with the Greek god Kronos, the consumer of his own children, and a representation of time, as time is the most fundamental characteristic of our existence, and indeed facilitates all death. There's an idea of a black cube as represented by the hexagonal perpetual storm at the North Pole of Saturn. This is closely embedded in everything and is one of the foundations of all occult symbolism. Some people will tell you that the occult is pseudoscience. Others will tell you that science is pseudo-occultism. Both are imperfect. To play devil's advocate, no pun intended, while there is widespread symbolic use, patterns also occur naturally through a means of efficiency, as all reality is composed entirely of various shadows and reflections casted by the limited numbers of 1 to 9. Another use of symbolism is the devil always being depicted as joyfully cackling. His laughter represents an evolved sense of consciousness and value as a life form. This only makes sense if there's an element of alienation and inability to inspire laughter in his victims, meaning hell is the fate of the humorless. If his prosperity is attached to sadism, being the lowest form of comedy, it means nobody in his vicinity has bested him. They are bureaucrats, squares, and other bug men. Guys whose idea of a joke is, I'm gonna go home and have a beer. But if you think harder and delve deeper, who else is red, jolly, and is used as a means of controlling children? Santa Claus. That's one theory of who hell awaits for. Another popular theory is that genocidal child rapists and the like are destined for the kingdom of heaven, as they believe that their veiled disclosure of everything they do earns them karmic redemption. If this subject is something you're well aware of from how it's been propagating all over the place in recent months, you're not alone, and you may need to hear the following. The famously Jewish-owned social media platforms are allowing their curated algorithms to pick up videos that incriminate themselves, and they are being spread more aggressively than ever. Watch one single Instagram reel to completion, and several more on the same topic will follow. One single reel leads you into the vast world of some obscure niche. This wasn't nearly as intensive a few years ago, but are you going to passively accept that it's some kind of an accident? Suddenly it's no longer edgy, intolerable, or even interesting to hate Jews anymore, as well as East Indians and other groups. Thanks to recently trending content, every swinging dick in my age group now completely despises them.
Keep thinking
I might not be the first to point it out, but
some people are so far behind in a race that they actually believe they're leading.
For
that's
somebody.
cute.
I'm not saying they aren't guilty of the things they're accused of, but it stands to reason that people who question things are now a targeted demographic that is being lured into something and led into something, possibly to get themselves into trouble unnecessarily. You watch midwits fall victim to short cons and feel as though you were spared,
Sharp as a
but
fucking
you're
cue ball.
being drawn into a long con. And on the off chance that the internet really is out of control, that doesn't mean they can't catch on later and use your newfound discontent against you. Overpopulation is trivial to most people, but how long will the notion that all human life is valuable be sustained before we are immersed in an inescapable mound of flesh, a continuous worldwide fire hazard? When the scale of competition from this volume of humans is realized, the basis of which lives are favorable will be formed by what people are watching on the internet right now. Mass immigration and persecution of immigrants are two arms of the same industrial complex that only serves the purpose of self-preservation, but both are predicated on asinine rationalization. Necessary evil doesn't sell as well as the idea that some people have a rigid responsibility to the GDP of both America and Nigeria and must be coerced to recognize it. Such propaganda already facilitates violence and could develop into open season on arbitrarily designated groups. Transparency doesn't eradicate the problem, but this narrative is susceptible to descend into unrecognizable absolutes. Remember these three truths to help you navigate the coming times. Your hate is not actionable, and neither is your fear. Not only is your personal contribution insignificant, like voting, your emotions will be molded by external forces to serve these external forces, of course. It would be more accurate to describe evil, horrific things as being performed disproportionately by Jews than it would be to say that Jews are disproportionately guilty, meaning the latter sentence is chosen with the purpose of scapegoating innocent people. What you can do is what you can do. Losing the false notion that you can influence society as one individual is actually empowering in that you gain improved clarity for what your priorities should be. If you've been diagnosed with global warming anxiety and you don't have the means to influence the behavior of millions, the one and only significant sacrifice you can make is to literally commit yourself to the earth. And that's number 2. The idea of morality being anything beyond an arbitrary social construct will do nothing short of enslaving you, with essentially no limit to what may be deemed permissible or reprehensible. The reality is that no life is sustained through benevolence. It is a luxury that becomes less affordable by the day. Number 3, renounce worship, not just holy rollers, and this isn't about theology. This century has seen unprecedented manifestations of worship, which can be any matter that one compromises their own interests for. It's the foundation of nationalism and every variety of ideology. Worship is purely a means of exploitation. Benefits, real as they may be, are marketed as the product when they are byproducts to keep you invested. The purpose is not the byproduct. Buy into it and your thinking can spiral out of control until it is rendered irredeemable. Worship is man's greatest sin, and that includes the bullshit that I began this video with. Even if wealthy and powerful people are into it, even if you can destroy everything in your path by wielding the power of numbers, does this idea raise questions of narcissism, and could that be problematic? Perhaps, but the point remains that your value, as manifested by your attitude, is greatly threatened. If your consciousness is not the most imperative matter known to you, maybe you know on some level that you are prey. I'm not sharing these thoughts to protect them. I'm not sharing these thoughts to protect you. It's for developing logic to reveal further truths. There are also days when any pursuit of truth is a deplorable time waste.